So, where do I begin with this? So this guy is a reform candidate, and he was handing out leaflets outside a mosque, and he got assaulted. I think everybody's seen the video where a man walks up to him and knocks the leaflets out of his hand. He said he's tried to do it before and he's been intimidated outside the mosque. There's a video of this guy. I think he's called Raj. See what his name is. Raj Forehand. I believe he's a second generation immigrant with dual nationality. Uh, he was handing out leaflets. He got attacked. Apparently, a few weeks beforehand, it was either Hope Not Hate or Stand Up to Racism were handing out leaflets outside the mosque, telling the Muslims that the Reform Party was racist and all this kind of the usual rubbish. And obviously, these people were never going to vote for the Reform Party. Never in a million years. Even if you did put a brown person up as a candidate, they were never going to vote for him because they're going to vote for the party that gives them the most. And the Reform Party has always said it's going to be tough. It's going to deport. Apparently, it's going to deport any illegals that come after they're in power. So we're talking about these people's family members who are coming across illegally, and they're just going to vote for a party that just turns a blind eye to it, aren't they? They're not going to vote for the Reform Party. And the Reform Party has basically shot themselves in the foot because by fielding a candidate based on identity politics, they've also alienated any Indigenous white British that would vote for them because they see this guy as not representing them, don't they? They say, yeah, he doesn't represent my values or anything like that, and they're just going to lose the whole vote in these areas. They're never going to win them playing the same politics, identity politics that the other parties have played in the past. It's the same reason why the Conservatives can't break through in Labour strongholds that are majority Muslims. It's that because they're never going to vote for parties that they believe aren't going to give them what they want. They're always going to vote Labour, and eventually they're not even going to vote Labour. They're going to vote for independent Muslim parties. So all this identity politics that they're playing at the minute is just wasted. They're never going to be voted for by these people. It's ludicrous, it's ridiculous, and it's just another example of the Reform Party becoming like the mainstream. They're supposed to be different. The thing they should have done is fielded a candidate that stood for British values, for our heritage, for our culture, and got behind the Indigenous Brits in the area instead of trying to pander to people who have no interest in integrating into our society. That way, they may get one or two councillors on the local council, but now they've completely blown any chances of doing that. They didn't win with this guy in the general election. Why would they? Nobody's going to vote for anybody from Reform in these strongholds. And that's why Nigel Farage is wrong when he says we can't ignore the Muslim vote. What he needs to do, he needs to focus on getting those people in Britain, the Indigenous Brits, to vote, the ones that don't vote in any elections or any local elections. He needs to bring them out and get them voting instead of trying to pander like everybody else has done to these minorities, hoping that they can get some votes out of them. But instead, he's chose to do exactly that. He's pandering to these minorities, taking the knee to them like other parties have done in the past, whilst ignoring the Indigenous Brits who probably would vote for him if he had a conversation with them and said, look, I'm here to represent you, British culture. But he doesn't do that. The Reform Party isn't doing that. It just isn't, is it? It's not doing any of that whatsoever. And it's just another reason not to vote for the Reform Party. They're an absolute joke. They're going to fail miserably in these Labour strongholds where they're trying to cut the Muslim vote. It's just ridiculous. It really is. This is Vindicator, signing off.